us in. It's time to raise the banner here in State College for this top 5 showdown. Let's join PA announcer Ryan
on the court. Both Brooklyn DeLay and Eva Hudson are the key to this Kentucky offense. The key to taking down Kentucky is trying to slow at least one of them down, which we've seen so far this season has been so difficult. Penn State relies on a power right side to get it done. That's two-time All-American Kennedy Martin. She's 6'6", so she's one of the most physical attackers in the country with an insanely heavy arm. They'll get her going from the back row as well and move her around. So Kentucky's defense has to have eyes on Martin at all times.
Yeah, we'll dive into that chest bump we saw just a moment ago. But to your point, Emily, Kennedy Martin already has 76 kills this season through just 4 matches. She's a two-time All-American, as you said, and she is a killer on the pin. Time now to meet the starters. We begin with the Wildcats. Head coach Craig Skinner looking for more production out of his middles, and we expect to see a little bit of a tweak there here tonight. Kennedy Washington likely getting the nod for Brooke Baltima as we enjoy and are spoiled with a raucous atmosphere inside Rec Hall. But how about the middle change there? But let's focus in on Penn State. Emily coming in on a 2-match losing skid. Katie Schumacher-Cauley in a tough situation here tonight. Breaking news, everybody. We're told the 2024 National Freshman
not only run the offense well, she's got to play really big up front today.
A couple of undersized players in that right front position. We'll break down Asia Thigpen, number 20 in black, later on as well. But Penn State will be the first serving side for this one. The wrecking crew here inside Rec Hall. Doesn't get much better than this, Emily.
And we're told about 2,000 students in attendance. This place is absolutely rocking. I feel like we've been shaking down here for about the last half hour.
Yes, we have, and that is a test that Craig Skinner, the head coach for Kentucky, is interested to see for his team to be in a Big Ten, big-time atmosphere. This is the home opener for Penn State. The emotions behind winning a national title last season and watching your banner lifted to the rafters has to be fueling the team in white. It'll be Jocelyn Nathan to start us off with first serve, number 11 in white for Penn State. Ooh, a serve that could have been deep, doesn't matter, to the pin as we would expect, and down goes Addie Lyon, introducing herself to the match. Back to Sarafa. Thigpen, the undersized opposite, throws it down. She's got a cool story here too, Emily.
Asia Thigpen is an incredible story. She played last season, her freshman year. She was injured a lot of it, but she really only played as a DF and would hit out of the backcourt. Coach Skinner says she's not a prototypical right side, but we needed her to fill that, and she's been one of the most impressive players during preseason.
Swiss Army knife utility player. That's Molly Tuzzo, the little barrel. Back to serve for Kentucky. Kennedy Martin gets her first attempt. Sarafa throws it back to the pin. Brooklyn DeLay does not get a kill there, so we'll see what Emmy Selman does. Sarafa back to DeLay, who finds the seam and rips one through, opens up her scoring tonight.
The biggest indicator of who's going to win this match is how well Penn State can control Kentucky's left sides. Because they are one of the most terminal duos in the entire country, Penn State has to put a premium on blocking out there, as well as defending in the backcourt.
How about the high praise from Russ Rose on Brooklyn DeLay ahead of the match, too? That's got to feel good. Seven-time national championship winning head coach. Out to the pin to Emmy Selman. Sarafa goes middle this time, keeping Penn State honest, and they're on it. And there's a look at head coach for Kentucky, Craig Skinner, and he's been around the game for a long time. 21st season at the helm, 2020 national champion. Credits his roots in Munciana, Indiana for his volleyball career. DeLay handles a beautiful pass there, and a crafty angle from Thigpen, looking for the touch, doesn't get it.
I love the way that setter for Kentucky, Ava Sarafa, is already keeping this offense pretty balanced to start. We've seen some middle involvement, seen 2 sets over to Thigpen as well.
Well, there's the trailblazer herself, Katie Schumacher-Cauley, becoming the first female head coach to lead a team to the national championship. Also won the first national title here for Penn State. She's a legend. And there we have an introduction to Eva Hudson from the back row. Craig Skinner telling us he had to recruit her 3 times. 3rd time's the charm.
And such a massive impact that Eva Hudson is having on this team. She's a fantastic 6 rotation player. I mean, she's playing all the way around the court. Great passer, good offense, and also really nice defender back there.
Transfer from Purdue, led the Big Ten in kills the last 3 seasons. That tells you her production level. And Addie Lyon with a tight set. How about the youngster in the undersized center. Addie Lyon throwing a one-handed set to Kennedy Martin.
Insanely athletic play for Addie Lyon to go up with one hand and put it up for Martin. Martin, though, she's 6'6". She can get to a lot of balls up there that a lot of right sides can't.
Addie Lyon, 5'9", a fifth-year senior. Spent around the college volleyball game a long time. And DeLay has a prompt response for the Wildcats.
Anytime that Addie Lyon is up front, she's 5'9", number 7 in white, expect almost every single ball for Kentucky to go to the outside because that's a blocking matchup with a shorter setter that Kentucky wants to exploit.
Absolutely spot on with that one, Emily. Eva Hudson back in the front row and a big serve incoming from Brooklyn DeLay. Handled by the defense of Penn State, and Evie Selman lights it up down the line. How about that pass, though, from Juice?
Penn State really struggled last weekend in their matchup against Arizona State and TCU. Both two ranked teams, so it was difficult, but their passing really fell apart during those matches. That was something coming into this week that Penn State put a massive emphasis on of cleaning up.
Coming into this match tonight, Emily, without your quarterback, your starting quarterback, Izzy Stark, I think Katie Schumacher-Cawley has to be pleased with the way Penn State has come out so far tonight. Ava Pelduto checks in with a big serve. What a pass, though, from Kentucky. Eva Hudson goes big, looking for the tool, doesn't get it. Pelduto looking to continue the run. Another look at the play. I don't see a touch on it. No challenge there as well.
Hudson still trying to go after that shorter blocker.
Addie Lyon talked to us before the match, Emily. We asked her approach on the pin. How are you going to go up against these big outside? She says, I'm not going to get stuff blocks, but I'm going to go for touches and try and funnel it properly to my defense.
As a shorter blocker, you know that you might not get stuffs all the time, but how can you still affect the play? Can you get your hands in good positions where you're getting a nice soft block and just get the ball up for your backcourt to then transition?
Trinity Ward back to serve for Kentucky. Ooh, goes for the jump float. Denied by the net. It is so loud inside Rec Hall, we cannot even hear ourselves think. Kennedy Washington getting the nod, as we mentioned, in the middle for Kentucky, looking for that middle production. We'll keep an eye on that. And that is well deep for the middle blocker, Jordan Hopp, also a fifth-year senior coming here to Penn State from Iowa State. Tied up 6 apiece here in set number 1, top 5 matchup, early September. It didn't used to be like this back in our day, Emily.
It didn't used to be like this 3 years ago. It's so much fun that the top teams all play each other early on in non-conference. It's great for the sport.
Eva Sarafa, the redshirt sophomore setter, back to serve. And how about Jurevicius going for hands? She gets the touch on command. And Caroline Jurevicius has got to have a big night on the pin, but it's an adjustment, Emily, going from the opposite to the pin. Take another look at the play.
Yeah, Caroline Jurevicius has lined up as a right side most of her career. Now she's playing on the left, on the outside. It's a big adjustment, mostly from a passing standpoint, which was something she didn't have to handle her last 2 seasons as a right side.
Beautiful serve from Addie Lyon. Gets Kentucky out of position. Penn State still alive. It's Kennedy Martin with a live arm, and why not go back to the hot hand in Kennedy Martin.
These fans love it. Kennedy Martin, one of the most explosive and impressive players in all of NCAA volleyball because of that range and explosiveness that she has in her arm.
And with Addie Lyon in the back row, the 5'9" setter, no more blocking mismatch for Kentucky. We'll see how they strategize their offense. They go back to Eva Hudson. What a dig from Addie Lyon. We're still going. No, it's wide. Great defensive effort, though, from Penn State, and that's the heart that Katie Schumacher-Cawley saw in a player like Addie Lyon. Found her in the portal, wanted her experience, and so far so good for the undersized center.
Even before we found out that Stark wasn't going to play tonight, in past conversations weeks ago, Katie Schumacher-Cawley has been so high on Addie Lyon and really impressive what she's been able to bring to the team.
Eva Hudson goes back to serve now, which means Brooklyn DeLay is back on the pin for Kentucky in the front row. Out to the pin into Kennedy Martin, who finds the donut, goes with the tip.
This is what makes Kennedy Martin so difficult. Not only does she have good range and an explosive arm, but she knows exactly when to pull it back and find big holes in the defense on the other side.
Well, it's knowing when to do those kind of tips, which is the experience of Kennedy Martin. Then you keep the defense on their toes. Now they don't know if she's going heavy, swing through the seam, or going to throw in that tip, so we'll keep an eye on that. Jocelyn Nathan The junior defensive specialist back to serve. Goes to Eva Hudson. And right away, there you see Lizzie Carr, another Purdue transfer. Redshirt junior.
Lizzie Carr, one of the most impressive middles on the floor tonight because of that reach. She's 6'6". She can get to a lot of balls. It's a little bit higher set that you see in the middle, but such a fast arm swing to put it down.
Kentucky looking to tie it on the serve of Molly Tuzzo, the libero. Nice pass from Grimes. Little position there, doesn't matter. Addie Lyon loves setting. Kennedy Martin, you asked her a great question ahead of this. Who's her favorite player to set? Well, guess who?
I think anyone's favorite player to set is the one that's scoring you a lot of points. That's what Kennedy Martin, number 18 in white, does. She's that physical presence that if you need a bailout anywhere on the court, she's good for a point.
Julian Grimes back to serve. Keeps it on Hudson. That's clearly their target. How about Asia Thigpen? I love to see a 5'11" attacker on the opposite with that much fight.
I mean, that heavy arm, too, for just being 5'11". Man, she packs a punch.
Craig Skinner talked about her, said this is a player where I had to keep on the court whatever that meant, and she is best on the opposite side. Love that from a coach to find your strengths and play to those. Grimes handles the pass again. Lyon goes back to her favorite attacker. What a dig from Tuzzo. Out of the back row, a two-handed set, easy to read for Grimes. Lyon goes back to the pin. Selman throws in a tip. So Rafa goes back to the pin. Delay, loads it up, and how about the attack from Emmy Selman from the middle of the court.
Huge heads-up play from Emmy Selman. She's pulled in on this block. She's playing off blocker defense, so she gets right up right away and is ready to take a big swing at this ball.
What a heads-up play from Emmy Selman, a sophomore transfer from Ohio State. Kennedy Martin back to serve, so keep an eye on that matchup, as Emily pointed out on the pin. Instead, Sarafa goes over on a tight pass. Jordan Hop tries to attack, and that's an athletic play from Kennedy Washington.
Kennedy Washington is known for just a sophomore, but Craig Skinner loves what he sees from her and just her ability to read the game. That's a perfect example. Getting your body right around that, knowing that's coming over on two.
Brooklyn Delay back to serve for the Wildcats. Heavy topspin incoming, and Penn State pulled off. With that pass, doesn't matter when you got a cannon loaded up out of the back row. That cannon is Kennedy Martin.
Martin getting a ton of swings so far, and look at this angle. So many open shots to hit and everything about that. Blocking toward the middle of the court, so she sharpens that a little bit, going back to left back in zone 5.
And a little smile there from Addie Lyon. Enjoying herself, says it helps to have that experience coming into this kind of situation. She wasn't shell-shocked, she wasn't nervous, she just was coming in, handling her business. In for Izzy Stark, if you're just joining us. Eva Hudson, though, finds the opening down the line. That's the mismatch problem in the front row.
Yeah, when Addie Lyon, just 5'9" as a blocker, is up front, expect Kentucky to run a lot of balls, push all the way out to the pins, meaning it's all the way toward the antenna, so she's able to go off of that shorter blocker.
And actually went off the hands of Jordan Hop that time, too. Ricochets out. Back to the service line for Kentucky. Trinity Ward, the freshman, missed her first serve. We'll see what she's got here. There it is. Big, beautiful jump, float serve. And Jura Vicious went up with purpose, exploiting Sarafa in the front row, which can sometimes be a mismatch, too.
Yeah, also a mismatch on Penn State's side. So they have a shorter setter up front for Kentucky. They're going to go after it, especially if Jura Vicious is up there. She's got that heavy arm and high reach.
Serve from Jordan Hop. And a heavy swing from Eva Hudson. Back out wide to Mendelson, who gets stuff blocked and denied by the Wildcats.
Big move from Eva Hudson, getting all the way outside, hands in a perfect position to not only lock that up, but put it straight down.
Back to the line is Ava Sarafa. Bloomfield Hills, Michigan. Jump float serve, goes right down the line with it, exploits Jura Vicious. Serve receive, Sarafa back to Hudson. No surprises there. See what Lyon does. Goes to the pin, and it's Jura Vicious, who needed to have a big night, and so far, so good for Jurevicius, looking to find a rhythm on the outside attack.
Even when it's not that perfect set, Jurevicius is able to adjust her arm swing to it. So, but dying a little bit inside, she's able to adjust it, go right off the block and down.
Serve into the net for Addie Lyon, who has been rock solid so far for the Nittany Lions. And Kentucky will take it back, looking to tie it at 14 here in set number 1. Eva Hudson. It's a big arm and a big serve, too. Took a little bit off it there. Caldudo handles it. Martin goes straight into the block of the undersized Thigpen.
There's nothing better up front than being an undersized blocker and getting a massive stuff against one of the best attackers in the entire country. So impressive from Thigpen.
Back out to Jurevicius, where she feels at home on the right. Gets the tool and gets the kill. How about this start for Penn State? No Izzy Stark, and a great start for the Nittany Lions. Big perseverance on the side of the team in white. More to come from set 1 next. Coming back to Rec Hall here in State College. Big news for Penn State without their quarterback, Izzy Stark. And how about that statement kill for the middle, Lizzie Carr, 6'6", and Penn State fell every inch of that.
Ava Sarafa is doing a beautiful job of bearing up this offense. Even 6 feet off the net, still getting the middle attack going, which is really difficult because that window is so small.
Molly Tuzzo back to serve with a jump float, trying to go after Emmy Selman, who handles the pass, but it's from the 10-foot line. Nice set there from Lyon. Sarafa pulls one out of the tape. Brilliant stuff from her. And a dig. Tuzzo with hands of gold runs tempo to the pin, out to delay.
Now this is something you don't see very often. Molly Tuzzo, the libero, meaning she's only playing in the backcourt for Kentucky, jump setting the ball and doing it really fast to her outside. Typically that ball has a lot of height to it, so it's slower.
We chatted with Craig Skinner about that libero offense, and she likes to sling those tempo sets from the back row. System is Penn State. Wow, what a spot for Kennedy Martin. Somehow gets Kentucky in a scramble, and Martin dodges that one. Selman takes a rip at it. Molly Tuzzo goes tempo again to delay. What kind of advantage does that give you when your libero can run tempo out of the back row?
Typically when it's out of system, meaning when a libero is taking that second ball, it's a lot slower. So the block thinks it has more time to set up. In this case, the block isn't necessarily pushed over enough. Martin's hands not together, so it goes right off her head and out of bounds.
Craig Skinner telling us she's an elite athlete in the back row. She has the touch. Penn State back to work now. Emmy Selman with a high swing as Kentucky loads up the back row attack. Eva Hudson is dug out by Juice in the middle back position. Kennedy Martin loads up, throws it deep middle. Delay is blocked. Second try is not the charm, but yes it is. There's a touch on the block identified, and Penn State might challenge this one.
Awesome transition play for Brooklyn DeLay. The first swing in this rally didn't go down, so she worked her butt off to get all the way off and get that good second swing, just finding the fingertips going out.
How about this run for Kentucky, up 3 points after the hot start of Penn State, and how have they been able to create somewhat of a turning point here, Emily, in your mind?
The biggest thing is putting up a better second ball, especially out of system. They're forcing that tempo. It looks like the offense has
got Penn State juiced up for this big match without Izzy Stark, the setter, and that is a big storyline. We'll dive deeper into it after this first set. Kentucky taking control here. Molly Tuzzo, the libero, back to serve, looking to continue the run. She goes short that time, handled by Mendelson. Out to the pin, Emmy Selman rips a big swing through a big hole. What a set from Addie Lyon.
Beautiful set from Lyon. She's pushing tempo, meaning this ball's a lot faster coming out of the setter's hands. Because of that, it doesn't give the opposing blockers time to set up, and a massive hole in the block for the attacker to go right through.
Credit to Maggie Mendelson there, going hard with her approach in the middle, holding a middle blocker off there as well. Thigpen takes care of business. Number 20 in black, an ultimate competitor.
I love the way that Thigpen is swinging right now. She's putting everything she's got into it. She's also ripping it down the line, so hitting it straight down to left back on Penn State's side. Penn State might want to move that block out just a little bit to take away that angle.
Let's see if they do that. Molly Brezowitz back to serve now, has family ties to Kentucky. Her sister won a national title with the Wildcats back in 2020. We'll dive into that later. Emmy Selman loads up. Nicely dug by Tuzzo. That angle is too sharp to handle from DeLay.
Brooklyn DeLay has so much range on these attacks. We've seen her go high hands, rip line shots. Now slicing this one inside. The way that she finishes that right hand, turns her thumb down, that allows her to get inside the block and hit a really impressive cut shot.
6th kill of the night for Brooklyn DeLay, hitting .545. Good luck stopping her out on the pin. There's Kennedy Martin. Pulled a little bit inside and a nice dig from Brezowitz. Tip over the block. Ooh, deflected. Lyon was there, but just out of reach after the last minute touch.
Kentucky doing an awesome job playing transition defense, meaning they're getting good touches in the backcourt, and they're able to get a good second touch on that and a good swing.
Brezowitz, Kentucky 4 points away from taking the first set. Deep float serve. Set from Lyon, goes to the middle, and that's a way to keep the defense of Kentucky honest. These players are asking for a challenge, and I think Craig Skinner might consider taking one here. We'll see. How about that gutsy play from Addie Lyon to get the middles going here too, and the impact of that for the Kentucky defense.
And massive to have that extra option, especially in the middle for Penn State, as a team that really relies on those pins.
Beautiful swing again from who else but Brooklyn DeLay.
8 kills already to start hitting nearly 600. She's doing a phenomenal job getting the ball in her hand, but then really mixing up what she's doing. The block doesn't know where to go.
She's mechanic out there on the pin. Producer of kills. And a big topspin serve goes into the net too. High risk, high reward there. Penn State needs to run. Time starting to run out. Jurevicius checks back into the lineup. Ava Felduto checks in too. She'll be back to serve for Penn State. What does Penn State need to do here to get a run?
I think the biggest thing is to vary up their offense a little bit. They're getting a little bit one-dimensional right now with Kennedy Martin. She can only do so much. Get other people involved.
Spot on with that one. Felduto goes deep. Brezowitz throws it up. It's 10-foot line though. Sarafa goes tempo anyways to the pin. What a dig from Felduto. Jurevicius tracks it down. We're still going. Tuzzo throws up a dive. Sarafa to the pin. One-on-one situation. Out to the pin again. Jurevicius throws it down, and that's a momentum swinging point. Mark it down. 22-19.
Big up from Jurevicius. Just taking one.
The defensive scramble, too.
Yeah, good defensive scramble back there, but awesome finish from Jurevicius, seeing where the blockers were lined up and going right down the line with it. And now we'll see a blocking sub come in for Penn State, trying to provide a bigger block with Gabby Nichols in middle. So there's no setter on the court right now for Penn State, so everything for them is out of system.
And we'll see how that impacts Penn State. They go to the middle back position. DeLay looking for a touch, does not get one. The call is out. And Craig Skinner taking a timeout wide open where Kentucky's going. And you can get away with it when you've got a team like Kentucky that has such exterminators, quite frankly, on the pin. It doesn't matter always to be as pin heavy. Saw the same thing with Penn State last year, win a national title with Jess Merzick and Cam Hanna taking a lot of those attempts. Okay, out of system here for Kentucky, in some trouble. And so is Penn State. Felduto is taking the second contact, and you can see how not having your quarterback setter into position here for Penn State can be costly.
And when you don't have a setter in, which now Lions headed back into the match, it really changes the way that you think as a defense too, because you have to keep that ball off of the net to make sure that someone can get a good second touch. That was a little bit awkward for Felduto to take and put up a good second ball.
Yeah, you can see the scramble settle in right on second contact as Trinity Ward checks back in at the service line for Kentucky. Craig Skinner relieved after that scramble from Penn State. Looking to go up set point here for the Wildcats. Deep float, too. It was close. Might have kissed that baseline. We don't know. And a big block from the middle blocker, Lizzie Carr. 6'6", tough to get through.
An easy point for Carr to put down. Roll shotting right into it. You got to go higher with it. Or Jurevicius has been great taking a big swing. Go all out.
Set point, Kentucky. Hines handles the pass. 3.0. It's Kennedy Martin. Rips one to the corner. Roll that one back to the other side.
Late in sets, expect both sides to go to their go-to attackers. For Penn State, that is always Kennedy Martin, no matter where she is on the court. This time, coming through middle back, even though she's playing in right back.
Point number 2 here for Kentucky. We'll see if Penn State can handle a nice pass from Hudson middle back. Attack goes to the back row. It's Brooklyn DeLay to close it out, and that's a fitting touch to get her 9th kill of set number 1 as we open up the match. How about the performance from Kentucky answering the roar of Rec Hall? They're up a set on the defending national champs.